Hari Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Vihari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Jaya Girivaradari Jaya Girivaradari Yashodanandana Vrajajanaranyana Yashodanandana Vrajajanaranyana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Vihari Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Vihari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Jaya Girivaradari Jaya Girivaradari Yashodanandana Vraja Janaranjana Yashodanandana Vraja Janaranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Jaya Radha Madhava Radha Madhava Radha Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Gurudev 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 Jai Jai Gurudev Nittai Gaura Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Nittai Gaura Hari Bol Shri Radha Madhava Bhagavan Ki Jai His Divine Grace His Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Hare Krishna, dear Prabhujis and Matajis, Dandavad Pranam and very happy morning. This is my first time talking for Gachibowli Satsang devotees in my life ever. On a very auspicious day of appearance day of Her Grace Anuradha Mataji. That is amazing.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, good to see you, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna Jajaro Prabhuji Savita Mataji. Praveen Mataji and Puja. Mataji Subbarao Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Pranam.
Yeah. First of all, I seek blessings from His Lordship, Sri Sri Radha Madana Mohana Radha Madhava, and then Srila Prabhupada. Then my revered Gurudeva, His Holiness Kadambakananda Swami Maharaj, and permission from all you revered Vaishnavas. I offer my Sashtanga pranams at your lotus feet. And please bless me so that some good words come. Yes, let us start with some prayers first and then we continue the discourse. ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनाच्छलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपा कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वापदान्तिकम्। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातां सहगना रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं श्रीकृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपदां सहगना रघुनाथान्वितांश्च हे कृष्ण करुणा सिन्धो दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेशा गोपिका कांता राधा कांता नमोस्तुते तप्त कांचना गौरांगी राधे वनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिय वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्यैव च पतितनां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। नमो विष्णुपदाय कृष्णप्रस्थाय भूतले श्रीमते कदम्बकानन स्वामी निति नामिने। नमो विष्णुपदाय कृष्णप्रस्थाय भूतले गुरुदासा जयद्वैत स्वामी निति नामिने। नमो विष्णुपदाय कृष्णप्रस्थाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामी निति नामिने। नमस्ते सरस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देश तारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैता गदाधरा श्रीवासादि गौरभक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। नारायणं नमस्कृत्यं नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी। नमः पंकजनामाय नमः पंकजमालिने नमः पंकजनेत्राय नमस्ते पंकजांग्रये। नमो महावदन्याय कृष्णप्रेमप्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्णचैतन्य नामिने गौरत्विषे नमः। नमो ब्राह्मण्यदेवाय गोब्राह्मणहिताय च जगद्दिताय कृष्णाय गोविन्दाय नमो नमः। नमो विष्णुपदाय कृष्णप्रस्थाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्ता स्वामी निति नामिने। नमस्ते सरस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषा शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधारा श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। If you choose to repeat, you can kindly repeat after. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Pavitro Pavitro Vasatavastagatu. Yatsmare Pundari Kanksha Sabahya Bhyantaram Suchi. Om Sri Vishnu Sri Vishnu Sri Vishnu. Hare Krishna, dear Prabhuji and Mataji. Hare Krishna, Lilananda Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam.
Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam.
Hare Krishna, Josna Mataji, Swapna Mataji, Madhavi Mataji, Dandavat Pranam. So, yesterday we were playing a Vedic quiz, which we play every week almost. And the topic was 1.3.23 Srimad Bhagavatam. Srila Prabhupada was speaking. After Lilananda Prabhuji has rightly, empowered us to watch Srila Prabhupada's lecture once a day, we have decided to play in the quiz we play on Srila Prabhupada's lectures. And the first lesson that came to my mind right after I typed the Srila Prabhupada's lectures was, what is actual happiness? Ekona Vimshe, it goes like this, which explains the 19th and 20th avatars of the Lord, which is Lord Balaram and Krishna. Then it ends like, when we are in remembrance or association with the lotus feet of that Lord, who is the incarnation of 99, when we are, all the distress is dispelled and leads us to actual happiness, and that lotus feet, if Krishna has some dots on his, for dust particles on his lotus feet, that is all of your devotees, and that is my shelter. And on those lotus feet, I do my Sashtanga pranams and seek permission so that I can speak some words. This is my very first time. I need your blessings, Lilananda Prabhuji and all revered Vaishnavas, so that I can put some endeavor. Hare Krishna. Let me share my screen. Prabhuji, you want to say any words before I start, or any Vaishnavas to say anything?
His Grace Raghunandan Prabhu ki jai.
Hare Krishna. Yes, let us go into discourse. First, let us do a very short synopsis of what we have been reading for so many years now. So I will spend a very little time on that, on what we have been reading so far, setting up a little context, which probably is not needed, but let me just try that part. This screen is screen 1. Hidden. Randaraj, Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. And I want the main screen here. This one should go there. Please give me a minute. I'm playing with 3 screens here. Can this come to, or else I just show it in this mode. Yes, Srimad Bhagavatam. We just quickly go through, each of the synopsis of each chapter like that. We have had a very great fortune to read Srimad Bhagavatam. Is it 1 year, J.J. Prabhuji, Savita Mataji? So we started reading Bhagavatam from 9 to 9:45 every day, which has become the best part of our day. So Srimad Bhagavatam 1 starts with the most beautiful scene of Naimisharanya, right? And these memories of we sitting with Lilananda Prabhuji in near Prerna Waldorf School in his house, in Sri Nilayam 4th floor, and reading these first canto and first verses is still there in my mind, which was so amazing. And one of the best times, Prabhuji explained at the starting of the Srimad Bhagavatam, given introduction very wonderfully, Srimad Bhagavatam is the answer to all of our questions, right? And when it is spoken by, a qualified Vaishnava, it becomes even more sweeter, which was exactly explained by Lilananda Prabhuji. Srimad Bhagavatam is spotless Purana, Amala Purana. But when it is like a guava fruit, which is already very sweet when it is, put on a very nice tree, comes from a very nice tree. But what is even more sweeter is when it is bitten by a parrot. And that parrot of Srimati Radharani called Shukadeva Goswami, right? So the setting of the Srimad Bhagavatam starts in such a place, Naimisharanya, right? Sages meeting at Naimisharanya. The setting and the description of this scene itself, gives so much of joy to the heart. We literally get into the Naimisharanya, the forest area by reading Suta Goswami and assembled sages' words there. Then Canto 1 goes like, one of the first things after Suta Goswami starts speaking is appearance of Narada Dev, and this was one of the most striking chapters when we were reading recently, right? Narada Muni tells Vruttanta of his past life, previous life, and his mother was a maid servant. She used to work in others' house, but she was, her devotional service was topmost. She was an example in the area of devotional service, right? And then one day she happens to go outside to work, and then Narada Muni happens to stay home when sages were there, you know, and he serves them so nicely, these saints, sadhus. And at the end of the his birth, Narada Muni explains as concluding that chapter is, what made me Narada, as you all know, one of the great devotees, is that little sadhu sangha, right? That little sadhu sangha. Sadhu sangha, sharva shastra hoye. That one verse is there, right? Thus he tells that lava matra sadhu sangha, that little bit of sadhu sangha has, turned me into the pure devotional service. So that sadhu sangha is what we all seek for, right? Then it continues the story. Sutta Goswami explains to the sages assembling there. Then comes the most beautiful part of. You're all seeing my screen or no?
Yes,
Yes,
Prabhuji. Yes.
yes, Prabhuji.
Yes, Hare Krishna. Yeah. Then Kunti Devi prayers. And we have one Vaishnavi mother called Asharya Mataji. She knows how to sing this Kunti Stuti and also, Bhishma Dev Stuti. She used to sing. And the things I read also Kunti Devi's prayers before, but as we go a little bit more into Krishna consciousness, they start making more and more sense. Then one thing she tells Krishna is, like you can see in the picture, is leaving for Dwaraka, leaving Pandavas for Dwaraka, so that he has to take care of his kingdom also. Then Kunti Maharaji was pleading, Krishna, it was much better when I had so many distresses and problems. And now the distresses are gone and you are leaving. So Krishna, I prefer more to have distress and problems in my life so that you are always with us. So for a devotee, the distress is not a problem. Distress is a blessing in disguise. In the very lecture, Srila Prabhupada tells what is actual happiness. Distress or problems to a devotee are a blessing in disguise, because at that time we are with Krishna. Then it continues on to the glorious departure of Bhishma Deva, who had the vara of Ichamrutyu. Srimad Bhagavatam starts with Narada Dev, then Kunti Maharani, and then Bhishma Dev. Then there is also this Bhishma Stuti, the glorious departure of Bhishma Dev when Krishna was beside, right? Topmost. What more we can ask for? Then story goes on. It comes to a place where Ashwadhama's punishment comes. Ashwadhama performs this most abominable act of killing Pandava's 5 sons while they are sleeping. Then even Duryodhan was pleased in least with this act, but then he was terrified. What will happen to me? Then he throws this Brahmastra, and Lord Krishna saves Parikshit Maharaj while he was in Uttara's womb, like you can see in the picture. And Krishna also tells at that time that in a way it is all new parampara. When the paramparas pollute, Krishna starts new thing. It is said actually because of the heat of Brahmastra that the actual prana of Parikshit Maharaj were already left, and the Sri Krishna gives him a new life. In that way, it's a whole new starts. It ends with Draupadi, Bhagavati Draupadi, that you also came from fire, And in a way, Parikshit Maharaj is also coming from fire. So it is all new parampara, like that. Then by the will of providence, Parikshit Maharaj becomes the emperor of the entire world, and he goes for hunting on a given day. And there is a Shamika Rishi, deep tapasya. Um, then he forgets to be attentive towards the king, and the king becomes very angry and puts a dead snake on his neck. And such was the power of Brahmanas. Shamika Rishi's son named Shrungi, he gives a curse to the emperor of the world. So such is the power kept by Krishna in Brahmanas. And then it so happens Parikshit Maharaj doesn't want to settle SBI bank account and deal all these worldly things. No, he gives up the kingdom at once, and then he goes on searching what to do for a man who has 7 days to live. He goes on and he goes on and he goes on. That is Parikshit Maharaj's appearance. And at the end of the first canto, it gets to the appearance of Sri Shukadeva Goswami, Sri Shuka Maharshi. Shukadeva Goswami doesn't want to come out of his mother's womb, but then Lord Krishna himself had to come and give him promise that I will protect you, right? So that the Maya will not touch you. And like that, Shukadeva Maharshi comes out of the womb and starts walking and goes on, Deshatana. Goes like that, and then Vyasa Maharshi is going behind and going behind and going behind. Nothing stops a devotee like Shukadeva Goswami. Vyasadeva gives him so many things, but he's walking and walking, and Vyasadeva is going. And what stops Shuddha Bhakta is speaking of Srimad Bhagavatam. Vyasadeva starts speaking Bhagavatam to Shukadeva Goswami. Then Shukadeva Goswami thinks, hey, I think this is the thing that I'm looking for. Then he hears like that, and then he goes on the world and happens to come exactly at this point to the Ganges, right? And then Shukadeva Goswami is also, coming and asking various sages, what should I do? What should I do? Like that. And as soon as Shukadeva Goswami comes to this assembly, everybody knows he is the person who speaks Bhagavatam. Then it happens at the end that they both meet, and the canto ends with question from Parikshit Maharaj that Gurudev, what is the thing a person should do? What is the highest duty for a person, who is having only 7 days or 70 years to live, Then Shukadeva Goswami is most pleased with his question, and the second canto starts with answering that. Sri Shukadeva Goswami said, my dear king, your question is glorious because it is very beneficial to all kinds of people. The answer to this question is the prime subject matter for hearing, and it is approved by all transcendentalists. So the Shravana is suggested as the Shravana of especially Bhagavatam. The prime subject matter is what? Of course, Bhagavatam. For a person to do. So that is the highest thing which we are all doing by the grace of Srila Prabhupada and our Siksha Guru Lilananda Prabhuji. Then like that, the second canto starts. Second canto goes into explanation of the cosmic manifestation, the details of creation. Also continues to third canto. But then the Lord starts explaining, Shukadeva Goswami starts telling Bhagavatam, and then the first part Lord explains is his 3 features of Bhagavan, right? The first he starts to explain Nirakara Brahman. For those who want to go there, I have my aura or effulgence of spiritual world is this thing. But as the 12th chapter Srila Prabhupada explains in one of the lectures in this regard, is that Arjuna puts this question in 12.1 Bhagavad Gita, that Krishna, you also explained about your, Vibhutis and Vishwarupa Darshan and Nirakara Brahman. You also explained me about your Radha Shama Sundara form. Uh, then what is better? I am now confused. Should I concentrate on Brahma Jyoti or, your form, beautiful form? And Krishna kills the doubt in 12.2, telling Arjuna, it is possible also to go to, Nirakara Brahman and achieve me. But in my opinion, the harmful feature, prayer is the most suggestible. And then Srila Prabhupada explains in the purport, right? For us, for the embodied souls, it's very tough to concentrate on nothing, Then we have beautiful form of Lord Radha Shama Sundara, also explained by Radhesham Prabhu in one lecture, And who don't want to see this Radha Shama Sundara? Right, like that. And then the chapters goes on continuing, which we are reading right now, that then the Lord explains the Paramatma feature as in everyone's heart. And then also he explains how he enters into the each of the universes as Garbhodakashaya Vishnu, you know and then Lord Brahma tells so many stories in this regard, and the gigantic form of the Lord is explained there. What is his highs? The Vishwarupa Darshan is this material world, like Surya Chandra are two sides, the Bahus are Kshatriyas, like that. So many details in that second canto goes on like that. For those who are more interested in science and cosmology and scientific things, right? Here is the thing. Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 2. As you can read on the slide, it says that it establishes at the end that Bhagavatam is the answer to all the questions. So for those of us who are inquisitive about the science behind the creation, and this is the canto to go. And then we continue on to third canto, the state of quo. It explains in starting of the canto bit about the Lord's activities in Vrindavana and the universal form of the Lord. Then goes on and goes on. Then Lord Brahma's appearance from the Padma Nabha of the Lord, and then he comes out and he doesn't know what to do, like Radhesham Prabhuji explained in Zenith, in the Bhagavatam installation class recently, that what he could hear is only two words, Ta and Pa, right? And he starts continuing in Tapa. And there is a lesson for us, his guest Radhesham Prabhu tells, is that, when we don't know what we need to do, what we want to do, Lord Brahma is showing us, we sit in Tapa and chant, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Then Dadami Buddhi Yogantam, Krishna says, right, in 10th canto, Bhagavad Gita. He gives the intelligence on what to do. And he gave the intelligence to Lord Brahma, and he started creating creation like that. Right? And the canto continues, and we go to the most beautiful story of, Mother Devahuti marrying Kardama Muni, is it? Yes. Then he performs very, very long performances, sacrifices and devotional service and tapasya for many, many years. Devahuti was a very, revered princess, but after marrying Muni, she has to go through, so much of performances and serving husband like that. Then gives her benediction, and they also pray for the Lord to appear to them, right? And who takes birth is Kapila Dev. The canto also has the Vrittanta of, Kashyapa Muni and Diti giving birth to Hiranyakashipu, like that. And Hiranyaksha becomes so powerful, the demoniac king, and starts trembling the world. And then Lord Varahadev takes avatar. And his day Samarendra Prabhu tells in his lecture of Varaha Mahatmya, why Lord takes Varaha is that Lord goes to an extent of becoming an abominable animal. When we see a boar, pig in a roadside, what is the immediate reaction that we get? like dirty kind of thing, we think, right? And the Lord goes to an extent to become that animal, to save a devotee, to save Mother Earth, right? Also, he has tusks so that he can easily lift earth. So that is the merciful Lord for us there. Then, Kapila Dev appears, and it's a book itself, right? Teachings of Lord Kapila. And since the Devahuti has served her husband so much for so many years, she becomes so pale, and she becomes so thin, and her sari is like so much dirty like that. Then the Muni gives her blessing. You have served me for so long now. Good luck for your football. Sorry, I'm not able to. Okay, go. Like that. And he takes her on a plane. He has creates creation for her, for wife, and he takes on her airplanes and shows her all material opulences and all these things. Then after that, Kardama Muni decides to leave, and Mother Devahuti goes to her son Kapila Muni and asks him, my dear son, what is this thing? I have served my husband for so long, and then we decided to enjoy materially. And after enjoying this much material life, still, there is no end to this. And what is this thing? And then Kapila Dev starts explaining the, essence of pure devotional service. Like that, it goes on. And then we enter Canto 4, the creation of fourth order, where it's the main story starts with Lord Shiva and Mother Sati, who is the daughter of Daksha Prajapati, who was not so happy with their marriage, and he decides to do a very big yagya, Daksha yagya, of which actually he wants to do it out of pride, so that he wants to show his Brahmanical prowess. And they don't invite Lord Shiva and Sati. And Sati wants to go to this ceremony. Lord Shiva tells it's not so good to go to a place where we are not invited. And she still goes, and then she gets insulted by all the sisters, mother and father also. She is okay if she gets insulted. She doesn't protest much. She just cries. But in the assembly, when Father Daksha decides to, chastise Lord Shiva, who is a, Vaishnavanam Yata Shambhu, she doesn't take it. And she curses and she enters fire there, becomes ashes right there. Then Lord Shiva's, army, this Bhuta Pishachas all come and create a havoc out of this Daksha Yajna. And then Daksha gets a goat head like that. And then we go to the Vrittanta of Dhruva Maharaj, right? King Uttanapada has two wives, Suniti and Suruchi. And younger wife was more dear to the Lord. So is Dhruva's brother sits on his lap. But Dhruva becomes, I also deserve to sit on father's lap. But Suruchi tells, no, if you want to do that, you pray to the Supreme Lord and take birth in my womb so that you will get the power. And being a Kshatriya son, Lord Dhruva Maharaj immediately leaves the place and goes to pray to the Supreme Lord. Again, Ena Kena Prakarena, whatever you want, where we should go, all these Mahajanas showing us is we go to the Supreme Lord, And Narada Muni tells, no, this is not the age. Dhruva, I suggest you wait. You wait for a while. Then after you get some good age, like 16 or 18, you can do all these things. But being a Kshatriya, he is so determined and he wants to achieve the Lord. And he achieves the Lord. This glories of Dhruva Maharaj Tapasya was explained by his grace. Narhari Prabhu, he took all Lilananda Prabhuji and Narhari Prabhuji. They took us to Vrindavana and we were sitting in that place and they made us roll in this place, If one, particle of the dust from Dhruva Maharaja's Tapasya place touch our body, we go to Krishna. Lilananda Prabhuji used to say at that time. He achieves the Lord and then he tells, my Lord, I got your darshan. What nonsense I want. Even the, Swargaloka is also I don't want now. I have achieved the highest thing. But still, the Lord is so merciful, you know. He awards him Dhruvaloka, which is even above the Brahmaloka. Then the story goes on. Dhruva Maharaja, continues to rule the world there, and then his descendants, Vena's thing is also there, and Maharaj Pruthus appearance is there, and Mother Earth stops giving grains and vegetables to the man earth. In a way, Prithu Maharaj starts Vyavasaya, the farming, he starts tilling the earth like that. And he also receives 4 Kumaras who are like always small boys. And Surendra Prabhuji, can you please mute? Hare Krishna. Yeah, he receives them. Like that 4th canto goes on Puranjana story and like that, And then we enter the Canto 5, the creative impetus, even more details into the creation, It mainly starts with the, Rushabhadeva. The main story that comes in is Rushabhadeva, comes in the dynasty of kings. And then he has 100 sons. 100 sons, he gives all the knowledge to 100 sons. He divides the world into all the sons. But the last 9 are very special. They are called Navayogindras. Their Vrittanta comes in the 11th canto, which actually I'm reading. Not able to finish it for last 5 years. I'm in 11th canto. But this Navayogindra's teachings are so beautiful. And His Grace Yudhishthir Prabhu from ISKCON Oslo tells, the most favorite canto of him is the 11th canto. There Navayogindra's stories come. And Rishabhadeva mainly teaches us how to be a avaduta. He clearly, at the time of Christmas, he showed, how to be of this world and not of this world. Like that, And the canto ends with the description of hellish planet. When we were in Oslo, we used to read like 10-15 minutes along with my sons, Srimad Bhagavatam every day. Then one day we were reading this chapter, hellish planets. Kids were very small at that time. Just while reading in the middle, out of nowhere, my younger son Achyuta Chaitanya, he started crying like anything. No, Papa, I don't want to go there. I don't want to go to these hellish planets. Then I told him, then we have to chant. Then we have to chant and surrender to Lord Krishna's lotus feet. That was a very big thing for me, how boy was thinking at that time, So this Papa Bhiti was there in culture, the miseries of material world and the miseries if what happens if we go to the hellish planets was there. They made us to sit in a temple, right? They ask even now to sit for 5 minutes. But in the olden days, like our Lilananda Prabhuji told in one of the lectures, if we sit that 5 minutes, few words go into our ears. Because in temples, always the Katha or Kirtan was going on in ancient India. Or in India that we saw when we were children, right? Always some Katha is going on. And if some of these words go into our ears, or especially children's ears, that creates samskaras in them, So it was very nice when the boy asked these questions and started crying like that. Then we enter Canto 6, prescribed duties of mankind, which we are slowly entering into the 7th thing. In 7th thing, I don't know if I have so much knowledge or thing to explain, so that we are spending some time here. ASP 6. Here, the canto mainly starts with the Vrittanta of Ajamila, right? Ajamila was a very nice Brahmana boy, but just because of a little bit of, we say sadhu sangha, lava matra sadhu sangha, right? In this case, it is also proven that, lava matra asat sangha can also lead us to patala. He has a very nice Brahmanical birth and very nice samskara start in his childhood, Ajamila. And then just with bad incident, looking at a bad incident, his entire consciousness changes, and he starts, chasing a prostitute, and he gets married with a prostitute, and he gets 10 children with that prostitute, and he dedicates his entire life to this prostitute wife, and whatnot he does. He kills people, he steals banks, he, does every abominable thing his entire life, and while becoming old, he has a little samskara that was taught by parents at the childhood, that he names all his sons as, maybe not all, but at least his younger son as Narayana. And at the time of death, with so much distress and so much helplessness, he calls for Narayana, bring me water. Narayana, Narayana, like he leaves the body. Narayana Antasprati, Krishna tells he will reach Krishna's abode. Right? Then Yamadutas come here. He has done so many abominable things. We want to pick him up. Then Vishnu Dutas come. Hey, it looks like Lord Yamaraj, who is the master of justice, didn't teach you Shastra well. When a person tells Narayana's name at the end, be him anyone, you don't have permission to come in. While going to Ahobilam, His Holiness Bhakti Sundar Sadhu Maharaj was telling one very nice things. If a person has a tilak and Kantimala at the time of death, at least the minimum, he doesn't enter the Yamalokas. Yamadutas don't have permission to touch such a person. So more and more we reach out to the devotees and give them kandis and tilaka. May be saved from the darkest regions of the hell. My Gurudev tells that's not optional for us. He told me personally that's not optional for us. Why a person from Amsterdam, which is a sin city, has to come and teach you Bhagavatam? It is your thing. It is your own culture. It is your thing. It should be on your shoulders to carry and give it to people. And with the right guidance from Lilananda Prabhuji, each one of us, reach out to more and more people. And it goes on like this. The Narayana Kavacha is there explained in this canto, and the Lord Indra's things are explained. And at the end, Diti, already gave birth to Hiranyakashipu and Hiranyaksha. Hiranyaksha became very powerful and started disturbing the entire earth, and Lord Varaha comes and kills him. Then Hiranyakashipu becomes so angry, and that's what we will continue to read today. This is from 6th canto, and today's topic is Canto 7, right, where it mainly starts with so it starts with Hiranyakashipu becomes very angry and takes revenge, and he wants to take revenge on Lord Vishnu. He becomes so inimical towards him, like that. And then at the end, right, the Lord comes out of this very stamba that is very close to us. And if you haven't been there, Lilananda Prabhuji has taken devotees there 2 times, and I happened to go recently to this Ugra Stamba, which is the protection place for all the devotees, like that. And let us look into that Vrittanta next. A little bit into the first chapter. Parikshit Maharaj, eagerly asks, if the Lord is equal towards devotees and enemies, dear Lord Shukadeva Goswami, why he looks like always partial towards devatas? In Samudra Manthan, in this or that, always the Lord looks partial to demigods. How can he be partial? He should be equal to everyone. And then it goes on and on. And this is actually a question by Yudhishthir Maharaj asking to Narada Muni. Narada Muni starts explaining, and it ends with so beautiful explanation. The Lord doesn't discriminate between good man, bad man, enemy, friend. No, Lord is equal to everyone. And it is for our astonishing, Narada Dev explains, the Lord is equal to everyone one person even constantly chants, in the inimical mood, like Hiranyakashipu did, even he can go to Krishna. The Lord taking out his veins and wearing around him is a display of anger also, but it is also a display of love for Hiranyakashipu to him. The Lord's body touching each part of his body is a big blessing. He explains like that, and then he gives a little Vruttanta into who actually Hiranyakashipu and Hiranyaksha were, right? A little bit into starting of Bhakta Prahlad movie, that Jaya and Vijaya are there, and 4 Kumaras who are sons of Brahma. They have access to the Lord's room in Vaikuntha all the time, and they once happened to go to the Lord in Vaikuntha. Then the doorman, the watchman there, Jaya and Vijaya, stops these 4 Kumaras. Then they becomes angry. 4 Kumaras become angry and curse them. You have become too proud by staying too close to the Lord. So now you have to go away from 7 lifetimes from the Lord. Then this pride will go away. Then they goes and pleads the Lord, my Lord, we made Brahmanas angry. What should we do now? Then I cannot, reverse or cancel the Brahmanas curse. Such is the, power given to Brahmanas by Lord Krishna. And then he gives them 2 options. What do you want? You want to be 7 lifetimes away from me, but be my friends. Option 2, you be away from me for 3 lifetimes, but become my enemies. And the devotees, if they have a chance to go closer to the Lord, ena kena prakarena tivrena bhakti yogena, they want to take up the shortest route, right? Like we have taken the shortest route given by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, singing Hare Krishna Mahamantra and go back to Godhead, like that, right? And then they say, my Lord, we want to become your enemies for 3 lifetimes and then want to come back. So who are these people in 3 lifetimes? Right? In Satya Yuga, they become Hiranyakashipu and Hiranyaksha. In Rama's time, Treta Yuga, they become Ravana Kumbhakarna. And Krishna's time, Dwapara, they become Shishupala and Dantaprakta. Right? Like that. So even with thinking of enemies, they achieve the Lord. Hiranyakashipu, the king of demon, is explained more in the 2nd verse. How he goes to Indra and captures his place and all these things, and his prowess is explained here. If you want to know the heroism of the Lord, the villain should be also very strong, and all those things were very nicely explained yesterday class by His Grace Ananda Raghunandan Prabhuji. It was very nicely explained. Hare Krishna, dear Prabhuji and Mataji who have recently joined. And now we go to today's topic, that is Hiranyakashipu's plan to become immortal. He wants to become immortal. Almost he wants to become the supreme personality of Godhead. And I have watched few lectures in this thing. Until when do we have time, Prabhuji? 8:30 is it? Many of the verses don't have big purpose, so it will.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, yeah, until 8:30, but whatever it takes to complete, that's
Yes,
fine.
Mataji.
Whatever is
Yeah.
assigned would be
The
fine.
purports are very small, Mataji. So I think it's good. Anybody wants to volunteer? You want to read?
Yeah,
7 point.
Prabhuji, I will start. I can read.
Yes, Mataji.
Translations and purport by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Sri Narada Uvacha Hiranyakashipu Rajan Ayin Ajaramanam Atmanam Aparti Vandam Ekarajam Vyadhisata. Translation: Narada Muni said to Maharaja Yudhishthira, the demoniac king Hiranyakashipu wanted to be unconquerable and free from old age and dwindling of the body. He wanted to gain all the yogic perfections like animal and what is this, Prabhuji? Lagima. To be
Hanuman, Lagima, Mataji.
Lagima, to be deathless and to be the only king of the entire universe, including Brahmaloka. Purport. Prabhuji, could you scroll a bit?
I did Mataji.
Such are the goals of the austerities performed by demons. Hiranyakashipu wanted to receive a benediction from Lord Brahma so that in the future he would be able to conquer Lord Brahma's abode. Similarly, another demon received a benediction from Lord Shiva, but later wanted to kill Lord Shiva through that same benediction. Thus, self-interested persons by demoniac austerity want to kill even their benedictors, whereas the Vaishnavas want to remain an ever-existing servant of the Lord and never to occupy the post of the Lord. Through Sayurya Mukti, which is generally demanded by Asuras, one merges into the existence of the Lord, but although one sometimes thus achieves the goal of the theory of monism, one falls down again to struggle in the material existence. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yes, Mataji, thank you so much. You know what benefit we got from Srila Prabhupada is so astonishing. Where did we know all these things? You know, I used to read Enadu newspaper. Then when a great person like Kantasala or someone dies, you know, what he used to write is, you know, Shivaikyam Chendaru, he has become one with Shiva, you know, and we don't notice what benefits we have got from Srila Prabhupada, that it looks like it's so immense, that he has saved us from the greatest of the dangers. And also it is explained, you know, is by His Grace Keshavananda Prabhu regarding this verse. You know, the demoniac king Hiranyakashipu wanted to be unconquerable, wanted to become in a way supreme lord, right? You know, he wanted to perform these very severe austerities so that he becomes yogic, in yogic, very, very powerful, and gets all these siddhis, anima, lagima. You know, anima is becoming the bigger than the biggest, and lagima become smaller than the smallest, like Hanumanji we see in Rama and serial, right? He wanted to get all these things so that he foolishly thought that he could conquer the Supreme Lord with all these things, including Brahmaluka. See, a demon's prayer, you know, his praying to someone like Lord Brahma, and what he wants, the position of Lord Brahma, you know. Can you think of any other examples? Someone praying to the Lord and then forgetting, and
Dhruva Maharaj.
Dhruva Maharaj. Dhruva Maharaj prayed to Supreme Lord,
But he forgot.
you know,
He again
yeah,
after getting
I
his
don't
mercy.
think.
Vrikasura, Prabhuji, demon, Vrikasura. You want to? Vrikasura. అంటాం కదా తెలుగులో.
Yes, Mataji. Yes. But I think these devotees don't fall in this category because, you know, Krishna tells in Bhagavad Gita, right? This seventh chapter, Chaturvida Bhajanti Mam, Artho Jignasur, you know, Ardharti, Danicha, Bharatakshapa, he tells, right? So devotees can pray to the Lord for Artha, for money, Arti, who are in distress, Jignasu, who is inquisitive, and Gnani. He, of course, tells in the next chapter, out of these four, Gnani is the best. Whereas the first three may forget the Lord after they get benediction, but still it doesn't fall in that category. You can think of demons who wants to pray to the Lord, and then he, you know, uses it for bad things, are become more powerful like that. One case I can think of is Ravana, you know, prays to Lord Shiva. Yes, demons to Lord Shiva, for example. You know, then Ravana to Lord Shiva, he prays, and then once Lord Shiva becomes prasanna, what he asks for, you know, he asks for Mother Parvati. Then one more thing is Bhasmasura, you can think of, right? Also like that. So it also so happens that when we go to the Devatas, especially, that what they give is probably what we ask for. But when we go to Krishna, he probably gives us what we ask for, then probably there is also salvation. Ekilish, you know, all these, even Putana, what to speak of all those things. Putana, who gave him the Visha poison, was also seen as a mother by the Lord. So the best thing is to go to Krishna. Even if we are in the need of these Chaturvida, necessities, we go to Krishna. Let's go to next verse. Anybody wants to volunteer? 7.3.2, please.
Can I do, Prabhuji?
Yes, please go ahead.
सेतेपेद्मन्दरत्रोण्यां तपः परमदारुणम् ऊर्ध्वबाहुर्नभो दृष्टि पादाङ्गुष्ठाश्रितावनि. Translation there's no purpose. Translation by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. In the valley of Mandara Hill, Hiranyakashipu began performing his austerities by standing with his toes on the ground, keeping his arms upward and looking towards the sky. This position was extremely difficult, but he accepted it as means to attain perfection. Hare Krishna.
Again by His Grace, our Lilananda Prabhuji. This Mandara Hill is a very special place. If I'm not mistaken, this is the place also where Gajendra Moksha happened. It is almost at the end of material world and near to the spiritual loka, starting of spiritual loka, like that. And it is also explained the rivers, the mango juice trees, and all these things are there. Extremely beautiful place. And Hiranyakashipu has chosen again such a place to go there and do the tapasya. And His Holiness Dhirashanta Goswami, those who want to do can do this little exercise with me. He asked us to stand like this. If you want to, you can do along with me. Then he asked us to stand on one leg, and he asked us to chant three Hare Krishna Mahamantras. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So this was a part of Sunday Love Feast lecture in Oslo. He asked us to do it like 3 times. So how easy is it? Half of the people who stood like that were fallen down like that, And such was the process to get liberated. Then he explained all these 3 yugas, way of getting out of material clutches. And then he explains how blissful is Kali Yuga. You can simply chant, take the japamala and sit. And the easiest way to go out is, put your 2 hands up and like a child cry, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Yes. Follow 4 regulative principles and chant 16 rounds. And Srila Prabhupada promised us he will take us, Yeah, but the determined demons also, if we see, today's people and their tapasya, but the wrong intentions are wrong, they only are creating havoc all over the world, which we can see also, So the power are getting perfection in yoga system where there is no Lord is always leading us to destruction, the most fit people, for example, film stars and all these things. If the yoga makes people actually happy, why the lives are always distressed? The person who is having the 6 abs, who doesn't have 6-pack body, who doesn't have connection with the Lord, is probably the most distressed person, And His Grace Gauranga Darshan Prabhu wonderfully put this thing in the lecture in Ramalayam in Nizampet, the Lord's lotus feet is the most sweetest. The Radharani helping all these devotees serve Krishna more nicely is the most beautiful thing. And then he told that, the life of devotees becomes so beautiful when we have relationships. Very nice. He was comparing the relationship with His Grace Lilananda Prabhuji and our Prasad Prabhuji, he was explaining like that. And he told that, devotees become closer when they hear the Lord's pastimes together. It's not vertical, it's not, parallel. The progress to Krishna goes. It goes like this, like a namaskara. From the both sides, you pray, you go closer and go to Krishna, like that. So our lives are more beautiful when we are cooperating with each other and serving Srila Prabhupada and Krishna. Right? But Hiranyakashipu has chosen a different path. He wanted to do the most difficult austerity, and Narada Muni explains here, he has chosen, very difficult austerity to do. 7.3.3. Anyone, please?
Hare Krishna Prabhupada. Can I read?
Yeah, madam, please go ahead.
Translation and purport by His Divine Grace Sri Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Jata diditi bhire je संवर्तार्क इवाम सुबिहि तस्मिन् तपस् tapyamane devasthanani bhejire. Translation. From the hair on Hiranyakashipu's head there emanated an effulgent light as brilliant and intolerable as rays of the sun at the time of dissolution. Seeing the performance of such austere penances, the demigods who had been wandering throughout the planets now returned to their respective homes. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. You see, when a person is determined to that extent, he can create so much of effect. And power of the brain is also shown here. Of course, he is empowered by the Lord, Jaya Vijaya, right? But then, when he sat in the performance like that, the Gora Tapasya, the rays started coming out of his head. And seeing of these austerities, the demigod started, feeling trembling. And they were going here and there. And it is explained by His Grace Gachibowli Prabhuji in that lecture, Sometimes some austerity of some people or some sevas of some people are stopped because they should be checked, or else it will only be used to the wrong things. Can you think of any examples whose sevas were stopped so that they were tried to stop from doing the wrong things? Can you think of 1-2 examples from Mahabharata or Bhagavatam?
Can you please repeat question?
Can you think of an example where a person's, education or sevas were stopped so that he was stopped from creating more havoc in the society?
Karna, like.
Yes, Karna is
Ekalavya.
Ekalavya. Yes, right. And it was sure this Nishada Jati person could use always for the wrong causes. And that way, sometimes some people are stopped from some sevas because they can only create havoc with that knowledge. And like our Lilananda Prabhuji tells, this knowledge is also a sword with edges on the two sides. It can cut us also when it is not applied correctly. Even Hitler carried Bhagavad Gita all the time, so many times, and he used it for only wrong causes. Right, like that. 7.3.4. Anyone wants to volunteer? Yes, Akichan Prabhuji, please.
One second, Prabhu. I need to read this sloka also, right? 1 second.
Shloka and translation, but you can also read only translation also if it is tougher.
Yeah, 1 second. Tasya samudbhuta sadhumo gnyastapho maya tirya gurdhvam hadoh lokam pratpad Visvarga Iritha. Sorry, Prabhu. Because of translation, because of Hiranyakashipu, whose severe austerities, fire came from his head, and this fire and its smoke spread throughout the sky, encompassing the upper and lower planets, which all became extremely hot.
Can you imagine, a person's tapasya can create the fire and it can make planets hot, that is the power of tapasya. The tapasya of Lord Brahma has created this entire universe. Tapasya of one devotee has created an organization called ISKCON and turning hippies into happies for centuries to come. Right? Tapasya of one person in Gachibowli has created this beautiful family where we have a solace at the time of distress. Right? So tapasya of each one of us should contribute to good and take many, many souls to the path of Krishna. Right? Please try to stop me or try to start talk in the middle, tell something. Please don't make it a monologue. You can even correct me if I speak some nonsense. This is my very first time. So please feel free to unmute and speak. And anybody wants to volunteer next? 7.3.5.
Prabhuji, yes, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Please.
Srimad Bhagavatam 7.3.5. Chuksubhur Nadi Udan Mananta Sadvipadris Chachalabhu Nipetu Sagrahastara Jajwalas Cha Diskodasa. Translation by Sri Padre. Because of the power of his severe austerities, all the rivers and oceans were agitated. The surface of the globe, with its mountains and islands, began trembling, and the stars and the planets fell. All the directions were ablaze. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
The tapasya has become such a huge thing, even the stars and planets started to fall down, And kindly don't take me wrong when I tell one thing, but probably is important. One of the reasons Ekalavya was denied from one reason was given that he will not pronounce the shlokas correctly. So please don't take me wrong. But then there are two examples in this verse. Chakshur. There is a small dot under S, right? Chakshur. We have Sha, and Sha. Three kinds of Shas in Telugu or Hindi, right? Chakshur. Like in Rakshana, Raksha. It's like that. Chakshur. When the dot is below. And when dot is above, it is Disho. Disho, Dasha. Dasha Marindi, we say, right? Dasha has changed. So it is not Sukadeva Goswami, but Shukadeva Goswami. There is a huge difference between Shuka and Sukha. Though it's okay, probably, but learning is no harm. Shuka Maharshi or Shukadeva Goswami, right? It's not Sukadeva Goswami. Explained by one of the lectures recently I heard. Yes. Kindly volunteer, one of you.
Hare Krishna.
Or can we skip? We can skip the. Yes, 2 said. Acharya Mataji, please go ahead, and Mataji, you can go.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
You see, Mataji, you want to read shloka or not?
Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. Tena tapta divam tyakta brahmalokam sur datre vignapayam asur deva deva jagatpate daitendriya tapasa tapta divi shatum na shaknumu. Prabhuji, scroll. Translation. Scorched and extremely disturbed because of Hiranyakashipu's severe penances, all the demigods left the planets where they reside and went to the planet of Lord Brahma, where they informed the Creator as follows: O Lord of the demigods, O Master of the universe, because of the fire emanating from Hiranyakashipu's head, as a result of his severe austerities, we have become so disturbed that we could not stay in our planets, but have come to you. Hare Krishna.
Yes, demigods, the devatas started seeing these effects and become trembled and went to see the Lord Brahma and was telling all these things. Yes, Mother. 7.3.7. Was it Saraswati Mataji who wanted to read?
Yes, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam. Please go ahead.
Text 7. Tasya ko tasya tasya kopashamam bhuman videhi yadi manyase lokana yavan nankshanti baliharastava vibhuha. Translation by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai. O great person, chief of the universe, if you think it properly, kindly stop these disturbances meant to destroy everything before all your obedient subjects are annihilated. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Yes, they all went to Lord Brahma and telling, it looks like he may destroy everything that you have created, dear Lord Brahma. So you please take care of the things. Yes. One of you can kindly volunteer for 7.3.8, please.
I can read from.
Prabhuji, can you please take just translation? We have some verses to cover and it's 8:27 already. Shall we skip the
Okay. No problem. Yeah. Translation. Hiranyakashipu has undertaken a most severe type of austerity. Although his plan is not unknown to you, kindly listen as we submit his intentions.
Yes, the sadhus, the bhaktas of devotees, they can see what is about to come, and a sadhu can see also in our lives, they can actually see. And Narahari Prabhu, His Grace Narahari Prabhu from Medpalli, he has, as soon as he's seen my face, he told, what is my nature and how it should be used in Krishna consciousness. Like that. Sadhu sees things and he can see and observe things, right? And what to speak of sages and devatas. And some of the sages are Trikala Jnanis. They know all the things. Then 9 and 10. One of you can kindly read translation.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Shall I read? Translation. The Supreme Person within this universe, Lord Brahma, has gotten his exalted post by dint of severe austerities, mystic power and trance. Consequently, after creating the universe, he has become the most worshipable demigod within it. Since I am eternal and time is eternal, I shall endeavor for such austerity, mystic power, and trance for many, many births. And thus, I shall occupy the same post occupied by Lord Brahma. Purport. Hiranyakashipu's determination was to occupy the post of Lord Brahma, but this was impossible because Brahma has a long duration of life. As confirmed in Bhagavad Gita 8.17, Sahasra Yuga Paryantam Ahariyat Brahmano Viduhu. 1000 yugas equal one day of Brahma. The duration of Brahma's life is extremely great, and consequently it was impossible for Hiranyakashipu to occupy that post. Nonetheless, his decision was that since the self, Atma, and time are both eternal, if he could not occupy that post in one lifetime, he would continue to execute austerities life after life, so that sometime he would be able to do so. Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna Maharaj. Yes, the determination can even lead to the next lifetimes. And the translation, as you can see, it is in the quote, so that the devatas are telling this with Lord Brahma, the intentions of Hiranyakashipu. That, his intentions are like this. He will worship you, but he will translation purport. Can one of you please volunteer? Then I can take it. Translation. By dint of my severe austerities, I shall reverse the results of pious and impious activities. I shall overturn all the established practices within this world. Even Dhruvaloka will be vanquished at the end of the millennium. Therefore, what is the use of it? I shall prefer to remain in the position of Brahma. This is intentions of Hiranyakashipu as explained by Devatas. Purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hiranyakashipu's demoniac determination was explained to Lord Brahma by the demigods, who informed him that Hiranyakashipu wanted to overturn all the established principles. After executing severe austerities, people within this material world are promoted to the heavenly planets. But Hiranyakashipu wanted them to be unhappy, suffering because of the diplomatic feelings of the demigods. Even in the heavenly planets, he wanted those who were harassed in the world by material transactions to be unhappy for the same reason. Even in the heavenly planets, indeed, he wanted to introduce such harassment everywhere. One might ask how this would be possible, since the universal order has been established since time immemorial. But Hiranyakashipu was proud to declare that he would be able to do everything by the power of his tapasya. He even wanted to make the Vaishnava's position insecure. These are some of the symptoms of Asuric determination. Symptoms of Asuric determination. This was guessed and told by Devatas to Lord Brahma. But once Hiranyakashipu got power, he did all these things. He actually removed the deities of Lord Vishnu and he put his deities there. And the mantras were like Om Hiranyaya Namaha, like this. Right? He changed the world order actually. But the demigods already guessed this thing before. 12th, can one of you read the translation and purport, please?
Can I read, Prabhuji?
Yes,
Again,
ma'am.
if it's okay.
Yeah, please.
Okay. Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. O Lord, we have heard from reliable sources that in order to obtain your post, Hiranyakashipu is now engaged in severe austerity. You are the master of the three worlds. Please, without delay, take whatever steps you deem appropriate. Purport. In the material world, a servant is provided for by the master, but is always planning how to capture the master's post. There have been many instances of this in history, especially in India during the Mohammedan rule. Many servants, by plans and devices, took over the post of their masters. It is learned from Chaitanya literature that one big zamindar, Subuddhi Raya, kept a Mohammedan boy as a servant. Of course, he treated the boy as his own child, and sometimes when the boy would steal something, the master would chastise him by striking him with a cane. There was a mark on the boy's back from this chastisement. Later, after that boy had by crooked means become Hussain Shah, Nawab of Bengal, one day his wife saw the mark on his back and inquired about it. The Nawab replied that in his childhood he had been a servant of Subudhi Raya, who had punished him because of some mischievous activities. Upon hearing this, the Nawab's wife immediately became agitated and requested her husband to kill Subudhi Raya. Nawab Hussain Shah, of course, was very grateful to Subudhi Raya and therefore refused to kill him. But when his wife requested him to turn Subudhi Raya into a Mohammedan, the Nawab agreed. Taking some water from his water pot, he sprinkled it upon Subudhi Raya and declared that Subudhi Raya had now become a Mohammedan. The point is that this Nawab had been an ordinary menial servant of Subudhi Raya, but was somehow or other able to occupy the supreme post of Nawab of Bengal. This is the material world. Everyone is trying to become master through various devices, although everyone is servant of his senses. Following this system, a living entity, although servant of his senses, tries to become master of the whole universe. Hiranyakashipu was a typical example of this, and Brahma was informed by the demigods of his intentions.
Yes, right. As straightforward, Brahma was informed by his intentions and what they are telling, how we should behave when we go to a sadhu is also explained in the last sentence of the translation, right? Take whatever steps you deem appropriate. If you have to give feedback or suggestion to a revered Vaishnava or sadhu, you tell your thing, but then at the end tell you please see what is the best to be done, like that, right? Can one of you please take 13?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Can I read, Prabhuji?
Yes, Mataji. Saraswati Mataji, please read.
Text 13.
Translation.
Avashanam Dvija Gavam.
You can read translation, Mataji. We are short of time.
Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. O Lord Brahma, your position within this universe is certainly most auspicious for everyone, especially the cows and brahmanas. Brahmanical culture and the protection of cows can be increasingly glorified, and thus all kinds of material happiness, opulence, and good fortune will automatically increase. But unfortunately, if Hiranyakashipu occupies your seat, everything will be lost. Purport. In this verse, the words Dvijagavam, Parameshyam indicate the most exalted position of the Brahmanas, Brahmanical culture, and cows. In the Vedic culture, the welfare of the cows and the welfare of the Brahmanas are essential. Without a proper arrangement for developing Brahmanical culture and protecting cows, all the affairs of the administration will go to hell. Being afraid that Hiranyakashipu would occupy the post of Brahma, all the demigods were extremely disturbed. Hiranyakashipu was a well-known demon, and the demigods knew that if a demon and Rakshasas were to occupy the supreme post, Brahmanical culture and protection of cows would come to an end. As stated in Bhagavad Gita 5.29, the original proprietor of everything is Lord Krishna, Bhoktaram Yajna Tapasam Sarvaloka Maheshwaram. The Lord therefore knows particularly well how to develop the material condition of the living entities within this material world. In any universe, there is one Brahma engaged on the behalf of Lord Krishna, as confirmed in Srimad Bhagavatam. Tena Brahma Hridayadi Kavaye. The principal creator is each Brahmanda is Lord Brahma, who imparts Vedic knowledge to his disciples and sons. On every planet, the king or supreme controller must be a representative of Brahma. Therefore, if a Rakshasa or demon were situated in the Brahma's post, then the entire arrangement of the universe, especially the protection of the Brahmanical culture and cows, would be ruined. All the demigods anticipated this danger, and therefore they went to request Lord Brahma to take immediate steps to that word Hiranyakashipu's plan. In the beginning of the creation, Lord Brahma was attacked by two demons, Madhu and Kaitaba, but Krishna saved him. Therefore, Krishna is addressed as Madhu Kaitaba Hantar. Now again, Hiranyakashipu was trying to replace Brahma. The material world is so situated that even the position of Lord Brahma, not to speak of ordinary living entities, is sometimes in danger. Nonetheless, until the time of Hiranyakashipu, no one had tried to replace Lord Brahma. Hiranyakashipu, however, was such a great demon that he maintained his ambition. The word Bhutyai means for increasing opulence. The word Shreyase refers to ultimately returning home back to Godhead. In spiritual advancement, one's material position improves at the same time that the path of liberation becomes clear and one is freed from material bondage. If one is situated in an opulent position in spiritual advancement, his opulences never decreases. Therefore, such a spiritual benediction is called Bhuti or Vibhuti. Krishna confirms this in Bhagavad Gita 10.47, Yadhyad Vibhuti Mat Sattvam Mama Tejo Amsha Sambhavam. If a devotee advances in spiritual consciousness and thus becomes materially opulent also, his position is a special gift from the Lord. Such opulence is never to be considered material. At the present, especially on this planet Earth, the influence of the Lord Brahma has decreased considerably, and the representatives of Hiranyakashipus, the Rakshasas and demons, have taken charge. Therefore, there is no protection of Brahmanical culture and cows, which are the basic prerequisites for all kind of good fortune. This age is very dangerous because society is being managed by demons and Rakshasas. Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Only Srila Prabhupada could write it. Right? As we can very clearly see, the countries are slowly being run by, the demons and Rakshasas who have zero concern for Brahmanical culture or protection of cows. So we are seeing the havocs here and everywhere in the world, the wars and all these things, right? Yes. Shilpa Mataji, can we stop here? The time is crossed. I could not finish. It's a bit more
Krishna
there.
Prabhuji, what is it?
Mataji, can we skip 4 verses? I supposed to read until 18. Can we do
Yeah.
14 and stop it as we have crossed the time?
Yes,
Is
yes,
that okay,
Prabhuji.
Mataji?
No problem. Yes, yes.
Yes, Prabhuji. Let us take just one more text and then we will take one or two questions and
Hare
close down. Maybe Vaishnavas has multi-tasks today. 14, anybody wants to read the translation?
Hare Krishna.
Small purport.
Hare Krishna. Dandavat Pranam Prabhu.
Yes, Lakshmi.
Yeah.
Dandavat Pranam, please.
Translation: O king, being thus informed by the demigods, the most powerful Lord Brahma, accompanied by Bhargo, Daksha, and other great sages, immediately started for the place where Hiranyakashipu was performing his presence and austerities. Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhu.
You can take purport also.
Yes.
Small purport.
Purport, Lord Brahma was waiting for the austerities performed by Hiranyakashipu to mature, so that he could go there and offer benediction according to Hiranyakashipu's desire. Now, taking the opportunity of being accompanied by all the demigods and great saintly persons, Brahma went there to award him the benediction he desired. Thank you, Prabhu.
Yes. When the demons do great tapasya, it's also dangerous, When they go to sadhus and ask, Maharaj, can I do this? The sadhus are so good, or probably in a position to not to say no. Such is the case of Lord Brahmaji here. Like that. And then until 18th, he goes to see Hiranyakashipu, his body is completely eaten by ants and worms there, and the life only goes through the bones. And there is this Pamukutta, the house of snake, this big thing over his body. And that is a very dangerous scene to see. And Lord Brahma is very much astonished and stunned to see such a situation of Hiranyakashipu. How could one do that? He does like that, and until 18 he goes and sees this body and becomes completely astonished to see Hiranyakashipu. And going further, we see how Hiranyakashipu will ask the boons, and how Lord Brahma tells, even I am not immortal, even I will die after my 100 years, so how can I give you the benediction of becoming Amara? Like that. And the story goes on, and the amazing part of Lord Prahlad Maharaj comes in soon, and we will see that in the coming weeks. And thank you so much for your attention. Lilananda Prabhuji, you want to tell a few words, please? Correct me if I missed some details here and there. Lilananda Prabhuji.
Thank you, Prabhuji, for a wonderful class. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Anybody has any questions or comments?
Thank you so much, Prabhuji, for the wonderful class. You have revisited entire Srimad Bhagavatam. Thank you so much.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji, for the wonderful class.
Nobody has a... Thank you, Mataji. Thank you so much for giving me this seva. And
thank you for a wonderful class, Prabhuji. So much hard work gone into it. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Thank
Then,
Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you so much, Prabhuji.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Dandavat Pranam.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Dandavat Pranam.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Dandavat Pranams.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna. Dandavat Pranam, Prabhu.
Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhyascha Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna.
We'll end the session here, Prabhuji. Dandavat Pranam.
Yes, ma'am. Please.